So the Democrats have unveiled a super new strategy that's going to guarantee them the White House. Not only are they going to literally recreate Kamala in our very midst, going to make her something that she never was and never will be. In other words, they're going to lie and present a revisionist history of the accomplishments slash non-accomplishments of Kamala. Camilla thinks she's a hottie Harris, but the way to draw in people to vote and make sure that Kamala wins is to call you, to call me, to call anyone that is pro-Trump, MAGA, Republican, leans kind of normal, to call us weird.
What he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
These guys are just weird. That's who they are.
As weird and creepy as J.D. Vance.
Plain weird. Just plain weird.
That stuff is weird. They come across weird, and then they start being weird. Yeah, they're weird.
Trump and his weirdo running mate are weird. Deeply and profoundly weird.
They are weird.
These Republicans just being weird. It's just weird. It's really weird.
Republican weirdness.
We're weird. Us. We're weird. Not the administration that gave us these two. Rachel Levine, a dude who thinks she's a woman in charge of our national health care, and the other guy, or the other non-binary, whatever they are, that got caught going to airports and stealing luggage. Stealing luggage. Apparently they resigned, because the Biden administration doesn't fire anybody, including Secret Service members who almost allowed a former president to be assassinated. Yep, we're going there.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hey, welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell. Click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, and my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. That's the way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching the Afternoon Drive. Well, when we last left the fiasco known as the Secret Service debacle over what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, the embroiled and battered Secret Service director, the DEI hire, and again, DEI does not stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It stands for didn't earn it. Didn't earn it. She was simply a pal of Jill Biden. She took a few webinars online, and Shazam Batman, they made her the Secret Service director. And what an absolute fiasco. We have a former president who was nearly assassinated. We have a dead American, a true hero, a dad, a retired fire chief, loved by his local community. Other people who were there, simply attending a political rally, shot and wounded. It took days for the Secret Service director to finally do the right thing, fall on the sword, and resign. Now, the truth is, anybody who was associated with the decision-making process of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania that day should all be gone, including Ronald Rowe, the new acting director of the Secret Service. Now, again, they've gotten their optics together, and they're giving us a guy with his high and tight Marine haircut who looks like he just stepped off, out of the military police, and he's going to be in charge. But when you hear him on Capitol Hill, you can tell he is another politician who will speak of, it was a horrible day. I feel terrible. I haven't slept, but it wasn't my fault. I'm not going to take any responsibility for it, and I don't expect to be held accountable for it. Senator Josh Hawley had an opportunity to grill the new acting director, and he asked some basic questions. First question he asked is, okay, the roof that the shooter shot from had clear line of sight to the stage, to where Trump was standing, all the people around him. Why didn't we, i.e. the Secret Service, have our own shooter up there? And of course, Ronald Rowe, in typical politician speak, said, well, that's not our protocol.
My question is, why is there not a Secret Service counter sniper on that roof?
So, Senator, when we post up, our methodology is to look at things that can see in on our protectees so that they can provide that coverage.
But why is there not a Secret Service counter sniper there with clear line of sight? That roof has a clear line of sight to the former president. Why didn't you put a Secret Service counter sniper there?
The Secret Service's counter sniper role is to neutralize those threats that are looking in on us from where the protectee is, not necessarily
You think maybe you might want to revise that protocol in light of what happened here?
They were protecting the principal, and I think
the principal got shot.
I understand that, sir.
So do you think you might want to revise the protocol?
So our protocol is to be in a position to shoot back rather than be in a position to completely avoid a shooting taking place at all. In other words, take away the places that a shooter could shoot from. Kind of makes sense to me, but hey, we've got to follow the protocol. After all, we've got a thoughtful investigation going on here. We're 17 days into this. And many people are covering this topic in much more detail than I have. Guys like Dan Bongino are all over it. There are other former Secret Service men who have podcasts. They are all over this. I'm coming at it from strictly a layman's point of view. Like most of you, we look at this scenario and there's only two takeaways. Gross incompetence. Second is purposeful negligence. That's treason, meaning they wanted something to happen. So which is it? We're 17 days in. So Senator Hawley begins to start asking him some logical questions over who made the decision that the building the shooter shot from did not need to be included in the secure perimeter, that it was outside the secure zone. Even though the shooter got off how many shots easily, why wasn't that building, that roof, included?
Let me ask you this. Who was the lead site agent who made the decision to leave the AGR building completely outside of the security perimeter? Who was that?
Senator, I cannot give you that name. This person is operational. They're still doing investigations. They're still doing protective visits.
Have they been relieved of duty?
Senator, they have not been relieved of duty.
I know their name, by the way. Why have they not been relieved of duty?
They are still cooperating, not only being interviewed by the FBI, but also by our Office of Professional Responsibility. And we will let the facts of the mission assurance and any further investigations play out.
Isn't the fact that a former president was shot, that a good American is dead, that other Americans were critically wounded, isn't that enough mission failure for you to say that the person who decided that that building should not be in the security perimeter probably ought to be stepped down?
We're not going to have the reputation impugned. We're doing a thoughtful investigation. But you're going to put them on leave, right? The fact that they are still active duty, that's the issue, Ron. Apparently you can't quite figure that out. Let me help you here. I was a school administrator for over 20 years. If a report came to me from a teacher, from a student, from a parent, from another student, that a teacher was acting inappropriately with a student, i.e., perhaps a sexual issue, let me tell you what our protocol is. First, you call the police. Call the police. The police step in, they begin an investigation. Now, that investigation may not be wrapped up in 24 hours or 48 hours or even a week or a month. But while it's under investigation, we do not allow that teacher to continue teaching. Now, that teacher, male or female, could be completely innocent. They may end up completely exonerated. But while the investigation is happening, they're not allowed anywhere near the students. They don't teach, they don't come onto the school property, they don't have access to the buildings, to their classroom, nada, nothing, zero, zilch. They're gone. Why are these agents not gone? That was what Josh Hawley was trying to get at. And listen, forget his high and tight Marine haircut. If he was former military, he is a disgrace to whatever branch of the military he served in, this Ronald Rowe, because he's apparently nothing but a political stooge and a hack. And he's doing everything he can to try to obfuscate and drag out and frustrate this process, because Josh Hawley is simply asking a series of logical questions. And did it get heated? You better believe it got heated. Not because Josh Hawley wanted to be heated. It got heated because the new acting director does not want to be forthcoming or say anything.
So yeah, you're right. I am zeroing in on somebody. I'm trying to find somebody who's accountable here.
And
you're telling me that the person who made the decision not to include this in the perimeter has not been relieved of duty. What about the person who's in charge of the interoperability of radio frequencies between local law enforcement and Secret Service? Has that person been relieved of duty?
No, Senator, because interoperability is a challenge, is a greater challenge than just one person. On that day, we had a counterpart system. It failed.
As the person who made the decision to send Donald Trump onto stage knowing that you had a security situation, has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir, they haven't.
Has the person who decided not to pull the former president off of stage when you knew that, in your words, the locals were working a serious security situation, has that person been relieved of duty?
No, sir. Again, I refer you back to my original answer that we are investigating this through a mission assurance. And as opposed to zeroing in on one,
what more do you need to investigate to know
exactly what the decision-making process was? What more do you need to investigate
to know that there were critical enough failures that some individuals ought to be held accountable? I mean, what more do you need to know?
What I need to know is exactly what happened, and I need my investigators to do their job. And I cannot.
A lot of people didn't do their jobs.
I cannot put my thumb on the scale. Otherwise,
what do you mean put your thumb on the scale?
You're asking me, Senator, to completely make a rush to judgment about somebody failing. I acknowledge this was a failure of the Secret Service.
Is it not prima facie that somebody has failed? A former president was shot.
Sir, this could have been our Texas school book depository. I have lost sleep over that for the last 17 days,
then
just like you have.
Somebody to hold them accountable.
I will tell you, Senator, that I will not rush to judgment, that people will be held accountable, and I will do so with integrity and not rush to judgment and put people unfairly persecuted.
Unfairly persecuted?
Unfairly,
we've got people who are
we
dead.
have to be able to have a proper investigation into this, Senator.
You said earlier that you've got to make sure that your protocols are followed, and unless there's a protocol violation, people wouldn't be disciplined. I would just say to you, I don't really care that much about your protocols. I think if your protocols don't provide for the fact that when a former president is shot, when an American is killed, when other rally-goers, innocent people who just showed up on the day, when they are shot at and critically wounded, if that isn't a protocol violation prima facie, you should revise your protocols.
Boom! And again, nobody's lost a job. Nobody's been suspended, put on leave of absence. They're all still on the job. Tell me, in what universe, in what other setting would this even be allowed? The train engineer who was on board the train that derailed and passengers lost their lives and multiple millions, if not $1 billion worth of damage. While the investigation was going on and will go on for months, he's not still out driving trains, is he? Again, in what other occupation and what other job would allow the people that are in the midst of the biggest horrific scandal and death was a result, they're still working. They're still every day clocking in and going to work and making decisions, and they're still part of the are you insane? But we're weird. Every day we see the words of the book of Revelation playing out. In the end times, that which is good will be called evil, that which is evil will be called good. Up will be down, down will be up, black will be white, white will be black, in is out is in, etc., etc., etc.